Thank you for having me. And a little bit about myself, like I was introduced, I'm a clinical psychologist, so I'm a through and through mental health person, head to toe clinician. And along with that, I do a lot of research. So I'm a strong believer in numbers, so you might hear me talk about numbers a lot. To begin with, what I'm going to talk about today is how organizations and various aspects of an organization can contribute to employees' well-being, employees' mental health. And I know all of these terms are used, everybody has spoken about them, but I will use them slightly loosely, okay? So before we go into what is the organization's role, what I want to, thank you. What I want to get your attention to is some numbers on the screen, right? In the past 2 years, the need for mental health support has grown significantly. I mean, the number of people struggling has increased, like 35% increase in anxiety, depressive disorders, 80% increase in help being sought. But these are numbers from the past 2 years, right? And all of us have experienced, maybe we have experienced our own mental health struggles also. But the number that always hits home with me is that for anybody who struggles with a mental health concern, it can take anywhere up to 10 years to seek help. Now I want you to sit with that for a moment. What does a mental health struggle mean for 10 years? It means self-doubt. It means compromised relationships. It means not being able to perform at work and being questioned, plus constantly struggling. And that's where the intervention, that's where the organization's role is what I want to highlight here, because the earlier you intervene, whether it's as promotion, whether it's as prevention or as intervention, it really goes a long way. So, you can see the numbers on the screen, 36% increase in depression and anxiety, 81% increase in referrals for children and young people, 59% increase in emergency crisis care referrals. So definitely there has been a significant increase in need. And organizations have recognize this need. In the past 2 years, there's been an increase in how many organizations have signed up for employee wellness programs. But even before 2 years, and including these 2 years, what happens is these programs don't really meet their targets, meet their intentions, meet their goals. And when I say targets, okay, I'm not a business person. I never am looking at that. But what they aim to do with it. So there's low uptake, low engagement, because mostly these programs focus on a one-size-fits-all approach. It does not involve leadership. It gives the onus of the employee's own well-being in their own hands. You are not feeling good, figure out how to feel better, which does not really work because the employee is at a workspace not to feel better, but to do their job. And for them to be able to focus on doing their job, someone else needs to focus on them feeling good. So that's where leadership involvement becomes important, and that's what is very often missing from any employee wellness program. What works is a multi-dimensional, multi-layered approach which involves leadership, which aligns with the organization's values, which is, like ma'am had said earlier, consistent, transparent, and evolving. That's what works, and that's what will work in the coming future. So any program, any wellness program that aims to do this needs to cover more than just intervention or a curative approach. It needs to look at going much, much beyond intervention, to look at prevention and promotion. It needs to have leadership involvement across all levels, whether it's the chairman, whether it's the CHRO, CXO, team leads, anyone who has a position of impact. And last, it cannot see mental health as only what we conventionally believe it to be: depression, anxiety, psychotic symptoms, substance abuse, suicide. It needs to recognize that someone languishing, someone struggling to find work-life balance is also about mental health, and just focus on addressing them at multiple levels. Now, I have here some examples where we have tried to incorporate this, right? I want to talk about how one of the organizations, a large pharmaceutical organization with more than 13,000 employees, they wanted to do an in-depth analysis of their employees and their employee mental health. And what the purpose of doing this was to see where do our employees stand with respect to their mental health. Now, bear in mind, this has nothing to do with their performance. This was nothing to do with their salaries, compensation, how long they have been in the organization. Everybody was assessed to get a sense of what contributes to their mental health. And this data was analyzed to, across team levels, across different variables, so that targeted interventions can be put in place. If a certain team seemed to struggle more with work-life balance, then a targeted intervention for work-life balance is provided. So it's going into that granular detail which helps. Another organization that we've worked with decided to involve leadership across all levels to train managers and leaders as mental health ambassadors, wherein people, when they see that it's a top-down thing, you see your managers, team leads, HR leads talk about mental health, take care of their mental health, going one step ahead and asking, how are you feeling? It's okay that you're feeling like this, and this is how I can help you feel better. It really creates a space for comfort. It really makes one feel cared for. So, we've worked with organizations who've gone that one step ahead and taken, their senior management people, trained them in mental health to identify what mental health struggles can look like, because it's very difficult. Anyone, if you know anyone or you've personally struggled with mental health, you would know it's very difficult to talk about. It's very difficult to talk about to your loved ones. I do sessions day in, day out. Even though people have come for therapy, you have to ask in all different ways for them to open up. So it's very important to create that safe space, and that's what being a mental health ambassador is about, to be able to create that safe space. And last but not the least, going now from top management, from being very overt about it, it's slightly more covert also, where organizations have used research evidence to design organizational policies. What will work for people's mental health, what does not, what existing policies don't work for mental health, and using that research to create a system which can then help people continue feeling good. In addition to that, providing mental health support across the spectrum. Like I said, it's not just about individuals who have diagnosed conditions, depression, anxiety, substance abuse, or are performing so poorly that you cannot deny a mental health angle to it, but even individuals who are struggling, who've started sleeping less and less, who are missing days from work, who are taking last-minute leaves, picking up on those signs and allowing them and providing them with resources to feel better is what organizations are trying, and is what we as an organization are trying to provide our partners, a multi-pronged, multi-layer approach, from self-care to group interventions to psychotherapy to psychiatry to communities and all of that, so that nobody, irrespective of where they lie on the insight of their own mental health, on awareness of what it means, or the readiness to seek help. I may know I'm struggling, but don't feel comfortable with seeking help. You still deserve help. And with that approach, we have created something that's relevant for them, like a self-care module. It's okay, you're not comfortable talking to someone else. Fine, maybe you start with self-care. Okay, you need medication, then we have psychiatric help. Maybe you don't want to have too much focus on yourself, there's a group intervention for that. And when organizations or when employee wellness programs take this holistic approach, is when employees can feel safe, feel comfortable, be productive, and achieve the goals that they have for themselves as part of the organization, but also as individuals, and also help the organization achieve those goals. So I think I want all of you to go back with that message that mental health support doesn't have to start when someone is already diagnosed, when somebody has struggled for 10 years. That would be a loss at so many levels. Rather, going upstream, identifying, intervening, preventing early on is what will make a difference. So with that, I thank you all for this opportunity to talk, and I hope you guys will have something to think about with that. Thank you.